Hello my honeys, welcome to Farts and Yin. Welcome to Farts and Yin with me and Chelsea. So this class kind of originated because me and Chelsea had been going into our savasanas. Actually, we've been tooting a lot about the house, hadn't we?
Yeah.
Over these past ISO weeks, really been seeing a new light.
Yeah.
Shining from our bums. And basically, what I've been noticing is when I'm in a meditative state, when I'm in a soft state, when I'm moving into shavasana, and I really feel connected to that part of my nervous system that allows me to rest, to digest, and to process, I have been
Farting.
exuberating flatulence.
And it's so funny, like every time we lay here in Shavasana and like I've taught the class, if I hear Christian fart, I'm like, yes, I have done my job. And it's and same thing, it's like if then I'm farting, you're like,
that's mission achieved, you know what I mean? So today's class we're really going to be looking to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and we're looking at the Somana Vayu. So Somana Vayu runs laterally across the body, and it balances the energies of prana and apana, which is the energy that lifts towards the heart space and the energy that grounds into the earth. And the Somana Vayu is in charge of digestion and assimilation. So not just with the food that we intake, but also the information through the senses. So kind of noting what your relationship to kind of integrating the stuff that you learn is. If you tend to be someone who lets go of things quite quickly, this can be an imbalance in the Somana Vayu. So we're just going to kind of do a few things to aid in digestion and look at addressing any imbalances in the Somana. We're going to start with chanting.
yay. And hopefully you fart lots.
Yeah, so
during
I'll be cueing the farts. So if you can do it at will, even better. You will need pillows, so something that can replicate a bolster, which is this thing, and a belt or a strap, which I didn't actually mention. Something, because we're doing a supported hamstring stretch, something that you can put over your foot and kind of hold yourself there. If you can grab your big toe, that's great. Just grab your big toe, that's fine. We're going to start with 3 ohms, just because it's nice to make some noise. So when you're ready, just finding a comfortable seat, something that feels nice and supported for you. As you settle into your comfortable seat, close down the eyes, and just take a moment to arrive in your space, to arrive in your body, and to arrive in your practice. Dedicating this next 60 minutes to moving into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest, digest, process. And any air that escapes the body in this time is more than welcome. When you're ready, we'll take 3 ons together. moment. And to feel the vibration, the resonance of the sound that you have made, or that you have allowed to wash over you. Bring the palms face down the legs and just give the legs a little rub. So in my practice earlier this week, we did Kapalabhati with self-massage, and we're going to do the same thing, but for this particular class, the Kapalabhati is going to be a little slower, a little more rhythmic, and we're just going to do one round. Yeah, so it's going to be one round of 100 repetitions. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. It goes in less than a minute usually, maybe a little bit longer, maybe like a minute and a half. You do like 1 a second. And I'll count them, so you just do the forceful exhale. So if you've never done Kapalabhati breath before, we like to have a nice relaxed belly, Buddha belly. You can give it a little shake. And then once you have that relaxed belly, it's a forceful exhale. Just take a look. The belly comes in, you create this little vacuum, and that's it. Yeah. We're going to continue with a slow rhythmic pace, and this practice we'll do 100 repetitions. Once we've come to the 100, it's a full exhale, stick the tongue out, just have a look. Create a vacuum by sucking the lower belly and navel in and up, and then you're just going to grab your underneath your ribs and kind of start to do little massage. So what you're doing here is like you're a guest at someone's house. You don't just barge in and start poking around. You slowly explore any areas that feel maybe a little tight under here. Yeah, if you've done this with me before, great. We want to address those areas that have a little bit of tension and feel uncomfortable. Okay, let's place our hands on our lower belly and let's get right to it. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Breathe into halfway. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue. Forceful exhale and a complete softening in between each breath. So relax and soften the shoulders as you continue the breath. Relax and soften the face. If you become a little tired, just create a little space between each repetition. Just 20 more. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Stick the tongue out. Hold the breath out if you can. Draw in the navel, draw in the lower belly to create a vacuum, and then very gently getting underneath the ribs. Whenever you need to breathe, please breathe. Yeah? In this process of self-massage, we are being very gentle, very soft, exploring those areas that feel just a little bit tight underneath the ribcage. The Kapalabhati breath stokes the digestive fire, the Agni in the belly. So we are bringing our awareness to the internal organs, the organ body. And when we begin to explore the inside of our body, sometimes it can be a little uncomfortable. And if it is, just allow it to be so. We'll continue massaging just for 30 more seconds. If your arms get tired, just rest your arms. And when you're ready, you release any of the massage. Feel your belly come to relax and just rest your hand on your belly. Just feeling it nice and soft. And then we're going to meet in Supta Baddha Konasana. We're going to come to lie on our backs. So when you're ready, as you come to lie down, if you'd like to take props underneath your legs, you're welcome to take props underneath your legs, whether that's the support of blocks or books, completely up to you. Supta Baddha Konasana is soles of the feet together, knees out wide. You're going to place one hand on your heart space and one hand on your lower belly, whatever feels comfortable. If you want to take a different variation of the arms, you're welcome to do so. This particular position activates the kidney meridian, which is in charge of elimination in the body. And when you bring awareness to elimination in your life, how do you find letting go? Me and Chelsea were talking about this earlier in the week, this idea of a beautiful thing coming into our life. Allowing that beautiful thing to be there. And then seeing that beautiful thing leave. And not creating a problem with that process of letting go. And sometimes that is very difficult. We blame ourselves, we blame the other. And this leads to a sense of feeling victimized, a lack of contentment. So as you lay on the back of the body, as you soften into this position of vulnerability, of elimination, can you let go? How does it feel to let go? Physically, releasing control of the body, the breath, and even the mind. Give yourself the space to have thought, and then to let it go. One of the greatest difficulties with the yin practice is to resolve to remain still. So noticing if there is an impulse to move, a resistance to stillness. Allow that to be there. And as you feel the intensity of the physicality build, can you yourself remain soft? Feeling supported by the earth, feeling gentle at the heart. Taking just 5 more breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly guiding your hands to the outer thighs. And using the support of the hands, gently draw the knees in towards the midline. Beautiful. From here, the knees come wide in the direction of the armpits. So it's kind of like a cross between a hug and a happy baby. Maybe your hands meet one another, maybe they just catch the shins. A very gentle rock from side to side. And as you rock, I just want you to notice which nostril it's easier to breathe out of, your right or your left. Known as the Svata, the balance of the masculine and the feminine. You're going to roll onto the side that it is easiest to breathe out of, finding the fetal position. Knees draw up towards the chest. You can create a little pillow with the hands. And we'll rest here for a few breaths, balancing the Svata. Not trying to do anything, trying to achieve anything. How often is it that you allow yourself to feel completely supported? Can you do so in this moment? And when you're ready, gently pressing yourself up. Alrighty, process of elimination begins. So we're going to come into one of my favourite poses, a twisted deer. So we're going to take our bolster, or you can roll a blanket and put some pillows on top of it. You just want to make sure that it's quite sturdy, facing diagonally back from our right hip. So diagonally back from our right hip. From here, plant the soles of your feet down. Chelsea's already there, so you're going to take, that's alright, it's perfect. You're going to take your knees over to the right. So you kind of land in this position. Then I like to take my hands behind me and I see where my bolster is and I'm like, ooh, that's a bit far. So maybe I'm going to adjust my pelvis back or my bolster a little more horizontal. And then you're going to come down either onto the pillows, the blanket, or the support of the bolster. So if you have any issues with the neck, I strongly recommend resting on your right cheek. Yeah? If you feel like you want to continue the twist into the cervical spine, you're welcome to rest on your left cheek. And just try it out. Try out one, try out the other, whatever feels best. And never feel obliged to stay in something that doesn't feel right in your body. Twisting is an obvious way to compress the internal organs and to lubricate the spine. we will take this pose in complete silence. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. If you're resting on the left cheek, gently turn your face onto the right cheek. Feeling the cervical spine unwind. Draw your left knee on top of your right knee. Feeling the lower spine unwind. And then without moving your bolster, I just want you to fall off the side of it So you're no longer twisting through your thoracic spine. You can just rest your head on your right bicep. And if you want to give your bolster or pillow a little cuddle, you're welcome to do that. Just 2 breaths here, feeling the spine unwind, the organ body soften, noticing the effects of compression here. My next set of instructions is going to be very specific, so listen carefully. Press yourself up to a comfortable seat, facing the back of the room. Trust yourself, I believe in you. Take your feet around to face the back of the room. Take your bolster and pillows, which are now on your left side, to face the left front hand corner of your mat. So if you were facing the front, it would be the right. We're facing the back, so it's the left. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. From here, allow both of your knees to drop over towards the left. And you're ready to do it facing the front of the room now. Okay? So this is the opposite leg. Make any adjustments you need to through your legs so that you can come to lay on your support. Slowly make your way down. Sometimes the greatest thing we can do to help digest and assimilate is absolutely nothing. No words, no actions. Rest, digest, process. We'll hold here in silence. You're resting on the right cheek, gently turn your head to the left cheek. Feeling the upper spine unwind. Gently draw the right knee on top of the left knee, feeling the lower spine and pelvis unwind. I like to elongate my bottom arm and rest my head on my bicep, and I slowly allow the middle spine to come and unwind, maybe cuddling your pillows or bolster. Feeling into the effects physically, the space in the head, in the mind, in the breath. Listen carefully. Stay on your side. We're going to roll onto our belly. So just gently move anything that's in your way. Crocodile pose. We love a crocodile in this house. So you just take one forearm over the other and rest your head onto the forearms. If this doesn't feel comfortable in your shoulders, just take the elbows a little wider, create a little triangle or diamond, and rest your head into that. Taking diaphragmatic breaths, feeling the belly swell and soften on the earth. Sphinx pose. You can either stay here in your crocodile, otherwise you can draw the forearms down onto the earth and find your way into Sphinx. If you have any tenderness in the lower back, I invite you to take a prop like Chelsea's doing to help guide a little bit of space and support. Otherwise you walk your elbows a little further out. The further out you walk your elbows, the more the sensation comes into your upper back. Yeah. If you want to find a level of activation to support your back, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, completely soften, the head can relax. We're taking opposite action in the body. We compressed, we closed, we twisted. And now we're breathing into a sense of opening in the front line, closing in the back line. Close down the eyes and send your awareness, your focus inwards. What do you feel internally? You have the option to stay here for the next 5 breaths, or to walk the hands a little further out, and then to press yourself up to a seal. A seal is merely a lifting of the forearms. 5 breaths. When you're ready, coming out of your seal into your Sphinx. From your Sphinx, we'll come into a tadpole. So you're gently going to press yourself up to hands and knees, very gently. As you do, I just want you to hold on your hands and knees just for a second. Create a small activation in the core, and we'll just move through 5 rounds of cat-cow. arching and rounding the spine. And if you're someone who tends to move a little faster through life, I invite you to take the slowest variation of cat-cow that you have ever dared to take. Our rebound will be tadpole. So in your own time, child's pose, as it's known in the Yang practice. Any variation of the arms will only be here for 5 breaths. Breathing into the back of the body. Feeling the breath traveling horizontally out from the spine, sushumna. Feeling the space of your back body. Gently roll up through the spine. Alright, you're going to come into a squat. Ooh, what an interesting point to put a squat in the practice. You can guess why we're going to do a squat.
So we do better poos?
So we do better poos, thank you. So for a squat pose, if you feel like you would like to have the hands firmly grounded and the heels lifted and be in this more restorative variation, I invite you to do so. If you want to ground the heels or you want to take a block or support underneath your butt, which is what I'm going to do today, you're welcome to that. It's just a bit more supported. And one of my teachers, Rose from Krissy Yoga, talks about imbalances in the Somana Vayu, one primarily being constipation, but she talks about mental constipation, our ability or lack thereof to assimilate or integrate the things that we input into our life. And for me, this really happens when there is too much input, when there is distraction, when my awareness is scattered and I lack a focal point. Just noticing if you can resonate with that. Do you ever feel mentally constipated? Like there is too much information coming in and not enough time to process said information? Can you allow the yin practice to be a vehicle to rest, digest, process? If there has ever been a time to let the air out, it is in this moment. We'll hold here just for 5 more breaths. we will meet sitting on the butt. So however you want to get there, if you're on a block, probably walking the hands a little further back to support yourself in the transition. Alrighty, before we come to lay on our back with our strap, so if you don't have a strap, grab yourself a strap. We're just going to windscreen wipe at the knees a little bit. So plant the soles of the feet down onto the earth. I usually find when I draw my hip bones quite close towards my torso that the external and internal rotators can feel a little bit tight, especially the ones on the outside of the hips. Alrighty, cuties. We're going to grab our strap and come to lay on our back. We're going to find a hamstring stretch. I want you to release any hoops or loops in the strap unless they're foot-sized. Listen very carefully, ground the left sole of the foot flat onto the earth and take the strap around the ball of the right foot. So not the arch, the ball a little bit higher than normal. Relax your shoulders completely. That's quite difficult to do when you're holding a strap. There is a tendency or a pattern within hamstring stretches. They elicit this all or nothing passionate response within the body. So I want you to let that go immediately. Don't worry about how close your leg is towards your body. Usually if your lower spine is jamming into the earth, it means you have gone too far. So I want you to come into a neutral lower spine. And then you find the appropriate depth where you meet the first point of resistance. So Bernie Clark describes it, meeting the first point of resistance. And then being in that discomfort. Not so much so that you'll have to vacate before the end of the pose, but enough that you are testing the limits of resilience within your practice and body. If you would like to keep the left sole of the foot planted, I invite you to do so. Otherwise, you're welcome to extend the left leg long. We will take the remainder of this pose in silence. Draw the left sole of the foot onto the earth. Listen carefully, remove the strap from the foot. Take the right leg down and long. Draw the left knee in towards the chest and give it a hug. I want you to imagine that you are breathing into the front of your right hip, the very lowest part of your belly, as you open this part of the body. Plant both soles of the feet down, grabbing your strap. Straight away, coming to the second side, take the strap around the ball of your left foot. Reach the foot towards the sky. Soften the shoulders. Notice if you are going very deep and jamming the lower back into the earth. Come out slightly, bend the knee and create space underneath the lower spine. And then with that space, meet the first point of resistance in your stretch. You're welcome to keep the sole of the right foot planted or to lengthen it out long for the duration of the pose. It can be nice to notice the compression of the frontal body on the left side. We will hold the remainder of this posture in silence. Draw the sole of your right foot flat onto the earth. Release the strap and allow the left leg to go long down towards the earth. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. And again, Sending the breath low into the belly, imagine you were breathing into the front of the left hip. Bending into your left knee, draw both knees in towards the chest, round the spine. Release the feet down. Just going to turn on a light. Stay reclined on your back. We have a few options to take. The first option is a Viparita Karani, which is the support of a block or a bolster underneath your pelvis, with your legs gently lifting towards the sky. The second is a snail. A snail is where we take our legs overhead, and it can be quite compressive on the cervical spine if we don't yet have the mobility and flexion in the rest of the spine. If you know that you can find this pose comfortably, I invite you to take it. It's much like plow in the yang practice. Otherwise, you can take the variation Chelsea is taking with her legs to the sky. And as we hold in whatever variation you have chosen, I want you to bring an awareness to the internal organs around the abdomen. In the West especially, we are told that we have no control over our internal organs. But I often find when I send a conscious energy of softening, when I bring awareness to the different sensations around my belly, underneath my ribs and the cavity of my chest, there is a shift, a softening. Perhaps giving this a try and noticing what your experience is. If you are in snail, with the hands supporting the back body, slowly roll onto your back. If you are in Viparita Karani, gently plant the soles of your feet down onto the earth. We'll take a gentle opening of the front line. Once you are on your back, if you don't have a bolster underneath your pelvis or a pillow underneath your pelvis, bring it in now. And from this place, slowly walking your feet out. Bless you. It's that process of elimination.
Blessed and highly favored.
Okay, so you walk your feet as far forward as feels comfortable for you, and perhaps you reach your arms overhead. An expansive energy into the front body, supported through the back body. This will be our final pose before Shavasana. take 5 breaths into the lowest part of the belly. As you do, feel into the space you are creating here. Notice what it is that you feel. Be curious with the internal body. Once you have taken those breaths, gently begin to bend into the knees, planting the soles of the feet down. Merely lift your pelvis and move the bolster underneath your knees. Shavasana, final resting pose. Take any preparations that you may need for your Shavasana, whether that's a blanket, perhaps some support for the legs, a cover for the eyes. I'm going to turn the light off here so we can fully embrace and fart into the darkness.
I did 6. I counted.
That's so beautiful. I've done my job. Come to lie down on your back. I'm going to take 3 Oms. You're welcome to join. Please stay in Shavasana for as long as feels good for you. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Namaste.
As you settle into the stillness of Shavasana. Acknowledging the amount of information you take in each day. And as you move off your mat and into your week, your evening, balancing that input with a sense of processing. Rest, digest, process. Give yourself time and space.